Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited today because today we're going to be testing out the new Too Faced Born This Way powder foundation. I am very excited about this. This is basically supposed to be a powder version of the liquid Born This Way foundation, and this is actually my favorite everyday foundation. So I'm very excited to put this to the test. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so this powder foundation is basically supposed to be a powder version of the liquid foundation. So let's go through some of the claims about the powder version. It has coconut water, alpine rose, and hyaluronic acid, and those are the same ingredients that are found in the liquid foundation. This is supposed to give you a radiant, flawless, smooth skin in seconds. Touch up on the go with the all powder foundation. You're supposed to be able to use it alone for natural coverage that should last up to 12 hours, or you should be able to use it over your liquid foundation as a setting powder and to add additional coverage. So we're actually going to test it out both ways today. On one side of my face, I'm going to use it as a setting powder over the liquid foundation, and on the other side of my face, I'm going to use just the powder foundation and see if we can build it up. And I'm hopefully going to be able to do a full 12-hour wear test on it today. Now, the one downside about this is that it only comes in 25 shades, whereas the liquid version comes in 35 shades, so you may not be able to find your shade match in the powder version yet, and I don't know if there are plans to extend this line so that all of the liquid foundations have a powder counterpart, but for right now, the powder version will only come in 25 shades. So I decided to get the shade Maple because that is the shade that I wear in the liquid foundation. Okay, so I actually wanted to get another shade. I was thinking about getting a darker shade to see if I could use it as a bronzer, but I didn't see a shade for me in the powder version, so I decided just to get one to use for foundation. So like I said, we're going to test it out both ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this side of my face, and I'm going to apply the liquid foundation over here. I always like to use this side of my face as the tester side because I feel like on camera you can see this side of my face better, but I don't know, let me know. But I'm going to use the liquid side over here, and we're going to test setting it with the powder foundation over here. But on this side of my face, I really want to focus on this side because we're going to do just the powder over here. So I'm going to start off with about maybe a pump and a half of the liquid foundation. Now normally I like to blend out liquid foundations with my NYX number 3 brush, but I'm going to reserve this one for the powder foundation. So I'm going to use my second favorite foundation brush, which is the Luxie 532, the round top blender. This is what I'm going to use to blend out the liquid foundation, and I'm going to go through this part pretty fast because we're not really focusing on the liquid foundation today. Okay, so over here I do have the liquid foundation applied. When I wear this foundation just for like everyday wear, this is pretty much the amount of coverage that I will use. If I'm wearing this foundation and I'm kind of like going out somewhere and I want my face to look extra made up, I may go in with a little bit more of this, but this is typically how much I would put on. But for today especially, I don't want to put on too much of this because I am going to try to add more coverage on top of it with the powder foundation. So we're going to stop right here with the liquid foundation. But just so you'll see, this is the shade Maple. So one of the things we're going to be looking at is, in my shade, does the powder color match the liquid color? Okay, now since I'm going to be using a powder foundation on this side of my face, I'm actually going to put my under eye concealer on next on both sides of my face. So whenever I'm doing a liquid foundation, I will go in with my concealer after I put the liquid foundation on, and I am using the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I always want to call this thing the Super Coverage Concealer, but that's not the name of it. So on the powder side of my face, I would normally put, I don't wear powder foundation very often, but I would normally put my under eye concealer on before I apply the powder foundation. So I'm just going to apply this to both sides of my face and blend it out. I like to kind of stipple my under eye concealer and blend it out that way. And I'm in the shade Mocha in this Too Faced concealer. And this brush that I'm using, this is the Luxie 512 small contouring brush. This is what I've been using lately for my concealer. I'm also going to take the residual product that's left on the brush and I'm going to hit my forehead and my chin area. I don't like applying extra product right here because I feel like every time I do that, I end up putting more than I need. Okay, so now moving on to the powder foundation on this side of my face. I am going to use my my NYX number 3 blending brush for this. And I'm just going to pick up a good amount with this brush. And when I do powder foundation, I like to kind of like go back and forth between stippling, which is what I'm doing right now, and then buffing. I'm actually not a big fan of like buffing stuff into the skin, but powder foundation, I feel like you really need to buff it in to make sure that it's like really on your skin. So my first impression of this, applying it, I feel like it does apply very smoothly. It is supposed to be like a nice creamy consistency, even though it's a powder, and that is what I'm getting so far. I do feel like it's giving me a good amount of coverage, like the same amount of coverage as the liquid side. However, I feel like this side, the powder is just a little bit darker in color than the liquid foundation. I feel like this side of my face looks a little darker. Like I can wear this shade, but one of the things that I'm testing out is, do the colors match? Because they're both the same shade. They're both the shade Maple. Okay, so I feel like this is basically one coat of the powder foundation, and again, this is one coat of the liquid foundation. So before we go in and set the liquid side, let's see if I can put a little bit more of this powder foundation on the powder side. And see how it builds. I don't have very many powder foundations. I feel like I only have 2 others. And the one that I would normally reach for, but like I said, I don't wear powder foundations very often, but the one that I would normally reach for would be the Bare Minerals. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's a Bare Minerals matte powder foundation. So that's really like the only one that I can compare this to. And I do feel like they're pretty comparable. But this one does feel like really nice and comfortable on the skin. My only issue with it so far is that I'm not too crazy about the shade. I feel like this one, it just looks darker. Even before I put another coat on, it just looks a little bit darker than the liquid side. So again, this is the liquid version of the Too Faced foundation, and this is the powder version. So now I'm gonna go back onto the liquid side and I'm going to use this same foundation to set my face. Now when I set my liquid foundation, this is the brush that I would normally use. This is the e.l.f. I think this is called the e.l.f. Big Kabuki brush, I'm pretty sure. So I like to take just a little bit, maybe that much, of the powder foundation, and then I would just lightly stipple it onto my face. So again, not only is this supposed to set it, it's supposed to add more coverage if you want. So I'm going to go in with a little bit more. So I feel like that's about how much I would put on if I were using like a typical setting powder. So far, first impression wise, I think that the powder foundation, it looks really nice. It looks nice and smooth. It feels really nice on the skin. Again, my only issue is even with setting the liquid foundation with the powder foundation, I still feel like the powder side feels just, or looks rather, just a little bit darker on my face. But again, this is a shade that I can wear. I can get away with this shade. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup off camera. Again, when I do videos like this, please let me know if you want me to just skip through to after I finish my makeup, or if you want to see me do my makeup on camera. But until I get feedback on that, I will do it off camera just to make the video a little shorter. So I'm going to do that off camera and I will be right back. Okay, so my makeup is all done for today. I had a little bit of issue with my eyeshadow. I feel like my eyes look very, I don't know, like Halloween appropriate today. This was so not the look I was going for. But anyway, this is my finished look for today. So again, this is the liquid foundation side, and it is set with the powder foundation. And then on this side, this is just the powder foundation. So let me know if y'all can see a difference. I do feel like now that my makeup is all done, that both sides of my face, they do look a little more similar, but I still can see that this side of my face is running just a little bit darker. So I don't think that the colors are like an exact match, but it's like very, very slightly off. I feel like you wouldn't be able to tell a difference unless I pointed it out to you. But overall, first impression wise, I do really like it. I've only had it on my face for maybe like 30 minutes. I was kind of rushing to do my makeup because I got off to a late start today, and it's already almost 12 noon. And I want to try to wear this on my face for a good 12 hours before I come back and give you all my final thoughts. So, but you know, I like it so far, but we're going to do a wear test on it, and I'm going to try my best to not touch my face for 12 hours. I probably will just have to like touch up my lipstick when I eat. But other than that, the goal is to wear this for 12 hours, not touch it up, and see what we're looking like after that. Okay, so right now it is about, I hope y'all can see that, it's about 11:41 in the morning. I'm using my Fitbit because I am filming on my phone. So I use this just for text notifications. I don't use it to track my steps, I know. But anyway, it's almost 12 noon, so I'm going to try to keep this on my face for at least 12 hours, and then I will come back and wrap everything up. So I will see y'all in a bit. Okay, everybody, it is going on 10:37 p.m. and I hope y'all can see that. So I made it to about 10 hours of wear, and I just can't, I don't think that I can make it until 12 o'clock because I'm yawning and I'm really sleepy and I'm ready to go to bed. So this is what my face is looking like after having the foundation on for 10 hours. So again, this is, let me take my glasses off. This is the liquid only side, well, the liquid foundation, and it's set with the powder foundation on this side. And then again, this is just the powder foundation. So my skin is like super, 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 super oily in the usual spots. I always get oily in my T-zone first. I think my skin started to oil up maybe at about like 7 or so hours, which that usually happens with this foundation. So I kind of expected that. So the foundation doesn't claim to keep your face matte for a full 12 hours. It just claims to last on your face for 12 hours with a natural finish. So again, this is the powder only side. And I do think for the most part, it did last for 12 hours. Now, I'm not talking about that it stayed matte, because again, it's not supposed to do that, but it just really did a good job of keeping up on my face. Right around here, when you can see the hyperpigmentation, I didn't fully cover this up with the foundation when I put it on this morning, but I can see more spots peeking through now than I did earlier in the day. So I do think that the foundation has already started to wear off, but just a little bit. I think for the most part, it pretty much stayed intact for 10 hours. It claims to last for 12, but I'm only making it to 10 hours for this wear test. I am going to take a piece of tissue and I'm just gonna blot where I'm oily, and what we're gonna do is see if you're blotting off the foundation, does it look like new? Does a lot of the foundation come off when you try to blot off the oil? So that's the first thing we're looking at. And I feel like that, of course, that was gonna make a really big difference. So like if you do feel like you're gonna have to wear this foundation for a good 12 hours, just blotting it will bring your face back to life. But what we're also gonna do is reset my entire face and see what it looks like. So I'm just gonna take some of the powder foundation and I'm just gonna set my entire face again. So remember, this side is liquid set with powder. This side is just powder. Now I'm just going back over, oh, I picked up the wrong brush. Now I'm just going back over my entire face with a little bit more of the foundation. And what we're doing now is we're just looking to see, like, you know, this is really nice and compact so you can travel with it. So if you're on the go and you do need this to last for a good 12 hours, can you pretty much like reset it and make your makeup look like new. I'm also gonna put just a little bit over my brow area because my brows get super oily. That didn't totally take away the oiliness from my brows, but it calmed it down a little bit. So I didn't want to really add any more coverage with what I just did, but I think I did, but that's fine. I think when you put a little bit more on here throughout the day, just to like refresh it, I think it does a good job at refreshing it. I do feel like my makeup looks like I pretty much just put it on. So let me know what y'all think. So my first impression, this is just the first impression because I've only had this foundation on for about 10 hours. So I would have to wear it for multiple days to give you like, I guess like a full review on it. But first impression wise, after wearing it for 10 hours, I do really like this. I definitely am going to keep it, and I can see myself wearing it, especially for days where I want a quick application and I may not want to go through putting on a liquid foundation. Even though I prefer liquid foundations, this would be a good option for quick application or an alternative to travel with, because this would just be a lot easier to travel with than the liquid foundation. The only issue that I have with this foundation is the color. Just like I said earlier, I do feel like the powder only side is coming off a little tiny bit darker than the liquid and powder side, and I got the same exact shades in both foundations. And remember, if you're looking to get this and you do have a shade in the liquid, you may not have a shade in the powder at all, but you may be able to get a shade maybe to bronze or contour with, which is what I tried to do. But I did luck out and getting my foundation shade, but I think that they're slightly off. But again, not to the point where it's all that noticeable unless you point it out. So I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I really hope to see y'all back for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.